Judge Rhonda Wills starts right now.
Anthony Jackson, you are here suing your nephew, and you're suing him for $2,550, the value of a gold chain with a custom pendant that you loaned to your nephew and he lost.
Yes, ma'am.
Isaiah Savedra, you said that it is not your fault that you no longer have the gold chain with the custom pendant. You didn't do anything with it, but a third party stole it from you.
That's correct.
Okay, so Anthony, why don't we start with you? So first of all, tell me about your relationship with your nephew.
Okay. Judge, ma'am, I want to first thank you for adjudicating this case between me and my nephew. I feel like this is his first adult kind of lesson in responsibility, and I am really glad to teach it to him. So I'm glad to be here. So I feel like I'm the cool uncle. You know that uncle that...
I can tell, you got cool uncle written all over you.
That's what
Yes.
I'm saying. I'm the cool uncle. You know, you can talk to me about anything. I'll give you a couple dollars if you need it. I'll beat you up on your birthday, throw shoes on matching with on the chest, so I'm doubling down. I got the hoodie on.
So what is that logo?
Family First. It's an F1 and it stands for Family First. That's
Okay, and that's something you custom designed?
Yes. Yes.
So this was a one-of-a-kind chain and pendant?
Absolutely. It's my prized possession. My wife and my son are my prized possession. This is right next.
Right up there with your wife and your
Yes,
son?
Right next.
So how much did you pay for this custom chain and pendant when you bought it?
Well, it costed $1,550, and it was 2008 or 9.
Okay, and what is that chain and the pendant, what is that made of? What kind of material is that?
It's 40 grams of white gold.
Okay, so your prized possession,
Yes.
you love it almost as much as your wife and your son.
Close.
It's real close.
Yeah, close.
And Isaiah comes to you and says, I want to borrow your most prized possession. And what was your response to him?
I says, well, what's going on? He says, well, I want to take my girlfriend out on a date. She's, she's older. I'm gonna tell you business. She's 24, he's 21, she's older than him. So I thought that was fly. And I was like, okay. I was like, go ahead, nephew. You know what? You can use my chain. I'll bring it down on Friday.
Okay, so Isaiah, you apparently were going out on this date for Valentine's Day. Tell me about it.
So it was a week during Valentine's Day, and I had asked my uncle, can I borrow your chain? You know, the one
Okay,
that...
so why did you want to borrow this particular chain?
Well, I told my girlfriend that I'm proud to be part of that organization of Family First. She thought that was pretty cool. It complemented both my outfit and hers. We were both incorporating blue for Valentine's Day for some reason.
So tell me about this organization of Family First.
He had started it up, and it's pretty cool how he incorporates all the kids and NFL people, you know, to be a part of it. He helps out the community as much as he can. And that's pretty much about it.
Okay.
I mean, it sounds nice. You should have lost my chain.
Okay. All right. So when you asked your uncle to borrow this chain, did you know it was his most prized possession? Like, he loved this chain almost as much as his wife and his child. Did you know that?
I believe it.
What makes you say that?
He wears it all the time, and I tried touching it, and he slapped my hand. So I figured for Valentine's Day, he maybe can make an exception.
Okay, so Anthony,
Yes, ma'am.
Isaiah comes to you, wants to wear your prized chain. What was your response?
Well, normally, Judge, the answer to that would be hell no. But the older woman, he talks to me a lot about a lot of things, never quite a girl. So I was like, you know what, nephew's growing up, I got you. I'm gonna make sure you fly. So I come down, I bring it to him on Friday. I said, boy, I'm giving you this chain. If you lose this chain someplace, I'm gonna lose your body someplace. That's what I told him. And he was like, okay, uncle, I got you. So he puts it around his neck and I leave.
Isaiah, your uncle puts the chain, he adorns you with the chain. This chain is around your neck,
Yes,
but at some point, you took it off.
I did.
Okay, so tell me what happened Valentine's Day.
We went out to eat at this Italian restaurant, I'm not quite sure how to pronounce the name. And then afterwards, we decided to go to mini golf. The chain was heavy the whole entire
Okay,
night.
wait a minute. You guys go out to a romantic Italian dinner, and then you follow it up with mini golf?
I'm trying to teach him.
I'm just saying, Italian romantic restaurant, mini golf? I don't know, but what happened next?
So we went to mini golf, and I told her that, you mind if I put a chain in your backpack? Because it was kind of heavy all entire night, and I didn't
Okay,
want to
so
wear
why
it.
couldn't you play mini golf with the chain on?
Because I didn't want to.
Why didn't you want to wear the chain while you were playing mini golf? Because you said it looked really fly and you were trying to impress her.
But it was heavy the whole entire night. It was cutting into my skin. It was pretty heavy.
Okay, so when you took it off, where did you put it?
I put it in her backpack and I put it in her car.
Okay, so you took it off. Your uncle's having a fit over here, hearing what happened. You took it off, you put it in your date's backpack,
In the
and then
car.
you put it in her car.
Yes.
Okay. And then you guys continued to play mini golf?
Yeah, so after, it was about an hour, came back, car's broken into, backpack was gone, and the chain was missing.
Okay, so I believe you've submitted a photo to the court
I do.
of what the car looked like when you guys came back. So this is the window that was broken?
Yeah.
Where was the backpack left in the car?
Just about to the right seat.
Not in the trunk.
Up next,
Well, if it was such an important object of him, close to like his child, then maybe he would have taken more care of it, and they wouldn't have this. We wouldn't even here if you
Oh,
had.
this is what we gonna do? Okay.
and later,
So when you came into this court, you told me that you lost your job, you were unemployed, you didn't have any money, and that's why you didn't pay any rent. But now you're telling me that you got a stimulus check?
I put it in her backpack and I put it in her car.
Okay, so you took it off. Your uncle's having a fit over here, hearing what happened. You took it off, you put it in your date's backpack,
In the
and then
car.
you put it in her car.
Yes.
Okay. So you realize the backpack is gone, the gold chain is gone with the pendant. I'm sure you did not want to be yourself that day.
No, it was the worst Valentine's Day ever, and I didn't want to call my uncle to tell him how it went. He was blowing up my phone, texting me how the date was going, and I didn't have the courage to tell him. It wasn't until Monday after Valentine's Day where he called my mother. My mom ratted me out, telling him where I was. Got the courage to tell him, hey, I'm sorry, chain's gone, got broken into. And he had sympathy for me. He had remorse. He told me, that sucks, I understand. And I thought that was the end of it. Fast forward 2 days later, he calls me up saying, hey, how's that job you're working at? I say, it's fine, it's going good. He's like, how much are you making? I was like, well, this is weird. I'm making a decent amount of money. Why do you care? And he asked me if I can lend him the money this chain that I quote unquote lost.
Okay, so Anthony.
Yes.
That had to be a difficult phone call for you to learn that your custom, prized gold chain and pendant gone.
Yes, Lord. Yes, Lord. I hit him that night. I hit him Valentine's night. He doesn't say anything, right? I thought it must be going well. You know what I'm saying? He don't want to hit me back. It must be really cracking. So I didn't bother him no more. Monday, I hit him. He doesn't respond. I text him. He doesn't respond. So I called my sister, and I said, I thought he was in jail or something. I'm thinking, what happened to the boy? My sister says, no, he's upstairs in his room. I said, does he have his phone? She said, yeah, he's been on it. I said, well, go get him. So I didn't jump on him then. I gave it a few days. But I know he knows that he got to help me get this chain that he lost. So I called him.
Should I have insurance on it?
Don't talk when I'm talking.
Should I have insurance on it?
Insurance? I got insurance. Left and right. And if I would have, okay, so he trying to, I'm sorry, let me stay focused.
Okay, so let me ask you this, Anthony. When you told Isaiah, look, you're gonna have to pay for this, what was his response?
He reminded me of one of my students all of a sudden. He sounded like the kids that I coach and teach. He told me, all of a sudden it's a semantics thing. He said, Uncle, you told me if I lose it, I didn't lose it, because it's stolen, that means I'm out of luck.
So Isaiah, Why do you feel you're not responsible for the loss of
That's what I
your
wanna
uncle's
know.
chain?
That's my question.
He told me you're responsible for the chain. So I took everything, all the precautions I figured to secure his chain. I put it in a bag, I put it in the car, locked the car up.
So you mentioned something about insurance. Why do you feel insurance is even relevant here?
Well, if it was such an important object of him, you know, close to like his child, then maybe he would have taken more care of it, and they wouldn't have this. We wouldn't even here if you had.
Oh, this is what we gonna do? Okay.
I believe that I've heard enough, and I'm ready to rule in this case. Let me start by saying, Anthony, I get it. I think a lesson that you can take from this is one that, you know, your nephew told you, an expensive custom item like this, you probably should have had insurance for it. I will also tell you that it was very generous of you to loan something so precious to you to your nephew. I can't tell you how many times my daughter's gone in my closet. I'm slapping her hands, get out of my closet. Don't mess with my stuff. Because, however, Isaiah, it is important that you also understand that when you borrow something from someone, you're responsible for that item when you borrow it. I understand this is going to probably be a very valuable lesson learned for you, but it's also going to be an expensive lesson for you. So I do hope that that part-time job you have is going well for you, because you are going to have to pay your uncle back for the chain. He's presented evidence to the court that he paid $1,550 for the chain, and that is the amount that you are going to have to pay him. Judgment in favor of the plaintiff in the amount of $1,550. And that's my ruling.
Thank you.
Good luck to you.
And now we're on to the next case.
It's going to be case 1032, Burt versus Myers.
Thank you, Leland. So you two are foster brothers, and you are here in my court today suing each other. You, Mr. Burt, are suing your foster brother for unpaid rent, and you, Mr. Myers, you're countersuing against your foster brother for a laptop. So I'm going to start with you, Mr. Burt. Tell me how it is that you two came to live together.
Yes, Your Honor. So it all started when we were younger, that, you know, my birth mother wasn't there, so I was put up for adoption.
Okay, so is that how you wound up in foster care?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay, so once you were in foster care, did at some point you and Mr. Myers start living in the same home?
Yes, Your Honor.
So Mr. Myers, how did you reconnect with your brother?
I was actually homeless at the time because in 2020, I was working in a call center as a call center representative at that time, and they did a big layoff due to the global pandemic of the coronavirus.
Okay, so you lost your job and you were homeless at that point?
Yes, I was homeless, living out of my car, so I ended up reaching out to Mr. Burt about a place to stay.
What sort of an agreement did you make with your brother about having him live with you?
I told my foster brother we're going to split the rent that we're going to pay.
Okay, and how much were you paying in rent, Mr. Burt?
I was paying $1,000 a month.
So you'd each pay $500 a month?
Yes, Your Honor.
Mr. Myers, was that your understanding, that you were going to be paying $500 a month to live with your brother?
No, Your Honor, I was not at the understanding that I was to be paying $500 a month, because there was no specification of which date that the rent needed to be paid. For all I know, the rent could be paid.
Okay, hang on.
Up next,
So let me get this straight. You weren't paying rent, you weren't buying any food, but you had money to go out and buy a laptop? Is that what you're telling me?
provided by
Understanding that I was to be paying $500 a month, because there was no specification of which date that the rent needed to be paid. For all I know, the rent could be paid.
Okay, hang on. What was your understanding, Mr. Myers, of how much you were to pay your brother each month?
$500.
Okay. Was there ever any sort of a written agreement, or was this an oral contract?
Yes, there was a written agreement, which I do have right here
Okay,
in my
bailiff,
hand.
I'd like to see that, please.
However, the written agreement doesn't have a date that the rent needs to be paid by.
It doesn't matter. When you are a child, you act like a child.
Okay, so
when
hang
you are
on.
a teenager, you are reckless. When
Mr.
you're an
Burt?
adult, you do what you have to.
Who wrote this, by the way? Who wrote this handwritten agreement that you've given me?
I wrote it.
Okay.
He did.
So you wrote this up. You told your brother he was to pay you $500 a month beginning on December 1st. What part about that wasn't clear to you, Mr. Myers? He said you had to start paying beginning December 1st.
Yes, he said beginning December 1st. However, going forward, there's no time frame as to when the rent needs to be paid by, if he wants it paid by the 1st, the 15th, or the 30th.
I'm going to stop you because that doesn't make any sense to me. Rent has to be paid every month. When the 1st rolls around, that means that rent has to be paid. So you're here telling me that you didn't understand you needed to pay your half on the 1st of each month? Is that what you're saying?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay, I don't believe you. Mr. Myers, did you ever pay any rent to your brother?
No, I've been cleaning the house and doing other chores for him.
How long did you live with your brother?
6 months.
So you lived with him for 6 months and you never paid any rent?
Oh no, he still lives with me.
Ah, he's still living with you. Is that something that you want for him to continue to live with you?
I would rather him pay what he owes, and then if it goes good, he can stay. But if he doesn't, I want him out.
Mr. Myers, do you want to stay with your brother or do you want to move out?
Well, of course, I would love to stay with him because he's my foster brother, but at this point, I don't know. And I bought him a laptop, actually, a 2020 MacBook Pro.
Okay, yes, you're countersuing for the cost of the laptop. Who asked you to buy the laptop?
Well, I actually had some leftover money from the stimulus checks after paying a few bills.
Hold on, let me stop you. So when you came into this court, you told me that you had lost your job, you were unemployed, you didn't have any money, and that's why you didn't pay any rent. But now you're telling me that you got a stimulus check?
Correct, I got.
Okay, so you did have money, but you failed to pay your brother rent, is that right?
Correct.
Okay, and then what about food? Were you eating while you were at your brother's apartment?
I was eating, but
Okay, so let me get this straight. You weren't paying rent, you weren't buying any food, but you had money to go out and buy a laptop? Is that what you're telling me?
Yes, Your Honor.
Judge Rhonda's verdict is next. Does someone in your family owe you money? Submit your case at relativejustice.tv. Promotional consideration provided by
Got him. Your deodorant doesn't stop sweat at all. We've been there too, and we tried